Parsa, and I want to talk about external share for Confluence. This app enables organizations to share content outside of Confluence, outside of their instances. And when we say content, we are talking about spaces, pages, child pages. Really, depending on how that link or external link is configured, you can render a different view to the external users. We're going to show you how that looks like, but before we jump into that, what are the use cases? When do you actually need to use external share? Well, that depends, but at Warsaw Dynamics, we are using it to publicize our documentations for the app with our customer base, anyone who has any interest in our documentations, really. And if you go to the marketplace listing of external share, go to support documentations, you will actually be able to see external share for Confluence at work. So this is all of this documentation you are seeing is rendered from our Confluence page. So everything was done in Confluence. We are just displaying it using our own application, external share. And you may notice that this doesn't look like a standard Confluence page, and there are these nice buttons and nice background. So that's because we are using a macro. And that's the cool thing about external share, is that it supports so many macros, not only Confluence macros, but also very often the macros that were developed by other marketplace partners. So let's move on to how the structure actually looks like. As you can see, there is a familiar tree structure that you have in Confluence. You can actually access those. You can open new pages, interact with that tree, and you can subscribe. So you can watch for any changes done to that document. And when I say you can subscribe, that's because you can have an external user account. And that's going to give you some added bonus, added benefits, but that really depends on what your use case is. Because for us, this is publicizing it to the public domain. We want everyone to be able to view our documentations. That's not always the case. Very often, our customers want to share the content with a specific users, a group of specific users, and they want to secure that share through various different methods. So let's have a look generally at what we can configure and how we can configure the security. So let's create a new link. And here you can see the configuration page for the link that we are about to create. Here you can see the URL. The URL can be customized by your own custom domain. In fact, if you look at the documentations, we are using a different domain here. That has to be done through global settings, but we'll get to that in a moment. You can convert that link to a public link that would essentially take this link name and add it to the domain, to the URL, sorry. So it would make it easier to guess, but this is mostly just preference. Real security options are going to be in the next tab. We're going to talk about it. Now, here you see a bunch of additional configurations, and that's because external share is a bidirectional sharing, content sharing application. It enables external users to interact with your content. So this is not a static view, this is live feed, and it also enables external users to engage truly. So what can external users do? They can view the comments on that page, they can add comments, they can view or add attachments, view the labels, edit the page. This option is actually really interesting because this can be very useful for customers that have an external reviewing team. So sometimes they want to share a particular page or a particular space with a third party to review their documentations. And that actually enables those external parties to edit those content without the need to comment and go back and forth to make those small changes or tweaks. They can view the page history, delete or restore page history. And here we have one more configuration regarding macros. There are cases where some macros are not supported for various reasons. If that would be the case, you have two options. You can either say, let's remove those macros from the page, so just don't render it. And the second option is display a little placeholder saying, hey, there's supposed to be some content here, but we are unable to render it. And usually I go with the second option. Share child pages. So if you want to have that structure, you have to enable child pages. But what is really interesting is that you can also remove certain child pages or only display certain child pages depending on their labels. Now, without adding any security features, we are just going to save that link and let's access it. Let's see how it actually looks like. There we go. So you can see as the external user, I am able to view the same content that was displayed on Confluence, but on the external Share for Confluence platform. Now you might have noticed that something's changed here. That's because, again, on our documentations page, we have customized it. You have customization options that are also available to you. Not only the domain can be changed, but there are added customization features as well. I can edit that page. I can add a comment. So let's go ahead and let's add comment. We can even upload a file. And now let's go back to Confluence and see if those changes are applied. Now we can see the comment. And now if I go to attachments, files, I can see that the attachment was also added here. That is the time and everything. So how that just happened is thanks to external share's technical user. So as you saw here, the comment was added by external share for Confluence, but it does note that who the user that added the comment was, who the external user was. Now, let's go ahead and secure that page. I don't want this page to be publicly available to everyone. I want only a selected few to see it. So let's go ahead, let's go back to the configuration, edit it, and now I'm going to say I want to protect that with a method of protection. So what methods are available to me? One, I can set a link expiration date. This is okay, but this is not exactly what I need. This is still going to keep it public, but make sure that the link dies after a certain period of time. I can password protect it. Personally, I don't like that because, well, user can just share that password with the wrong person and there's human error involved. So I prefer something more solid. I go to selected users. This is my favorite option after SSO. SSO is more difficult to set up, and that's why selected users is my favorite option. That's because it's simple, it's solid, and it works wonders. So if I just go ahead and say, hey, I want this share to be only visible, only available for this user, I can do that. I can also say that I want only a certain domain to have access to that share. Both of those options are available. So I can get that done. There is one more security method that you can apply, that's IP address validation. Usually this is what I use, or SSO, but those options are also available to you if you want to use them. Now, dynamics. Oh, and you can see here that we got an error. This is because on a global level, we have the global admin has defined a certain number of domains that can be added. Since Warsaw Dynamics is not one of those domains, it doesn't allow me as a basic user or as a space admin to add that domain into the field. Now, since we talked about global admins, let's go ahead and have a look at how External Share's global settings looks like and what options are available to you there. As a global admin, you can view all the links, and you can view all the activities that have taken place on those links. You can have a space configurations. So space configurations are essentially your way of saying, I want certain configurations to be available within certain spaces, but they may not apply to other spaces. So for instance, on one space, you want to have commenting enabled for external users or optional for the basic users to choose whether they want to enable it or not. And on some other spaces, you might want to say, I don't want anyone to be able to comment on those documentations, and you can disable that as a global admin for that space. So that's what a space configuration is. And now global settings. So we have a permission schemes integration, so you can actually define roles or groups to control the access of your internal users and how they interact with the app on Confluence. So who can view the shares that they have created, who can view all the shares on a certain page, who can create new links. So all of those permissions can be set from global settings. Access is essentially where I mentioned earlier about IP validation. So if you want the shares to be available to certain IP addresses, you can do that from here. There is a lot of customization options, from customizing the emails, outgoing emails, customizing your own email SMTPs, customizing your domain, and SSO configuration. There is more options here. We're not going to dive into all of those customization features. And there's API keys, that is so that you can enable some automations. That can be a very nice addition for some of our customers. And I think overall we can conclude that right here. Additionally, of course, you have the space settings as well for space admins, where they have more limited access than global admins, but more extended access than basic users. You can customize your view, you can export it to CSV for reporting purposes. And I think we can conclude the video here. This is External Share for Confluence. It helps organizations share their content in a secure, bi-directional, live way. And when I say secure, I would like to also mention, last but not least, that we do not save any data from your instance. So the data is only rendered on our page, and that's why I used the word render only, because the moment the link dies, the moment the link no longer exists, your data is gone. We do not hold your data. We are only using REST API to call your data from your instance, render it, and that's it. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope you find the video helpful.